Hello, everyone, and welcome to my culturally responsive library. All right, first thing I want to do is just share a little bit about the demographic where I'm from. So, I live in Lompoc, California. Lompoc is known for three things. First, for its Vandenberg Space Force Base, which is also used to be known as Vandenberg Air Force Base, Lompoc State Penitentiary, and its agriculture. For the population, there are roughly about 43,834 residing in Lompoc based on the 2021 census. The migrant, want to talk about a little bit about the migrant population. It is estimated that there's approximately 3,385 migrant workers, of which 90% are Mexican. Of those who are from Mexico, the majority are Mixtec, an indigenous tribe from the region of Oaxaca. They speak Mixtec instead of Spanish, and there is an estimated 30 to 50 varieties of the Mixtec language. All right, so let's start off with gender in books. For gender, when it came to male, female, there was a bigger influx when it came to female characters compared to males and non human characters. However, when it came to female uh, main characters, there were a substantial increase compared to male or non-human characters. Whereas for non-binary, there wasn't much of a representation when it came to non-binary characters and main characters. All right, so for race in books, we have non-human, white, Middle Eastern, Native or Indigenous, Latinx, Asian, Asian American or African American. For characters, there was about an equal balance of white and non-human characters in the book. Third place coming in with Latinx, and then fourth being African American. There was little representation when it came to Asian American or Native Indigenous people, and less when it came to Asian American, Middle Eastern or Arab American. As for main characters, white and non-human dominated the course of representation. Third coming in with Latinx, um, African being fourth, and with no representation at all when it came to main character was Middle Eastern or um, not Middle Eastern, I'm sorry, Asian or Asian American. As for a setting, when it came to the suburbs, there was about a 40% uh, setting representation, urban 48, and then rural would be 11.4%. So five categories that I chose for mirrors and windows was main characters with disabilities, addresses economic struggle or poverty, languages other than English, characters who speak languages other than English, and I also integrated books that are both English and a second language uh, aside from each other. So, say for example, if the book was in English, underneath there'd be Spanish words underneath to so dual language parents or students can go ahead and read the book in their native language should they want it. Then I chose family structure other than mother, father, and two children. Main characters who are lesbian, gay, or bisexual. So when it came to main characters with disability, economic struggles or poverty, or a character of the LGBTQ plus community, there was no real representation for the most part. Um, However, when it came to languages other than English, there were many books that were bilingual in both English and Spanish, a great mirror for the demographic and a great window as well, not only for the students but for the parents as well, as should parents want to read to their child, they're able to do so as the book is in Spanish. Family structures, there was a good mirror and a good representation, I feel. And one example comes to the book Nana Akua Goes to School, which is a book about a little girl who takes her South African grandmother to school so that she could share with her classmates about the tribal markings on her face. And I feel that's good because the tribal markings is an identity for the grandmother, and not only is it speaking about um, markings and on people, such as here we would say tattoos, but also it's including ancestry as well. So I think that's a good mirror, a good window when it comes to family structure, other than mother, father, and two children. Some books I would recommend, which I think would have helped the library, would be Maddie's Fridge. So with Maddie's Fridge, it's about a girl named Sophia who found out that her friend Maddie had nothing to eat at home. She was shocked because her refrigerator was stocked with different foods, whereas Maddie did not. So Maddie, being embarrassed, made Sophia promise to keep her situation a secret. So this is a very nice, subtle way to talk about poverty or some financial instability that children do face on a regular basis. So I think this book is it's a good bridge and a good window for children to be presented to when it comes to poverty. The second book is called My City Speaks by Darren LaBeouf and Ashley Barron. A little girl is walking around in the city with her father. She is visually impaired, which requires her to use her other senses as she explores. As she explores, she begins describing the sounds, smells, and touches in a descriptive manner. Uh, Not only is this great because it includes someone with a disability, it also uses descriptive words, which is great for children who are still developing language. And then the third one is called A Plan for Pops by Heather Smith and Brooke Carrigan. This is a story of a boy who spent every day with both his granddads who live together. During their trip to the library, Pops falls and is confined to a wheelchair permanently. Lou, the child, after seeing Granddad attempt to cheer up Pop, begins to create a plan to cheer up Pops with the help of Granddad and neighbors. This is a great story for two reasons. One, it talks about not only disability and having to accommodate for those in need, which happens to Pops. It also talks about, it's very subtle, but it talks about two males living together and both of them being the child's granddad, one called Pops and one called Granddad. So not only is this a good subtle way to introduce LGBTQ conversation, but it really just it does it in a way that is not too shocking as many people might think a book about this might be, but it's something subtle and nice.